Welcome back to the halftime show here on the PAC Sports Network, and we're joined now by the Director of Athletics and interim men's basketball coach at Bethany College, Brian Sansom. Coach, always a pleasure. Thanks for being with us today.
Randy, great to see you, and surprisingly seeing you at this time.
Right. Well, we'll kind of go through that. So now, after 6 seasons as head coach of the women's basketball team, you left that position to become the athletic director or director of athletics at Bethany College. Tell us about that decision and the excitement that you have to make an imprint on this Bethany athletic program.
Yeah, one of the toughest decisions I ever had to make in my, 37 years so far in my life. It was one of the tougher ones that I had to make, was step away from that program. But I had, in my mind, there was only, I had a few more years that I had thought that I was going to continue to be a coach, but an opportunity presented itself to provide some stability and leadership to our overall department. And, through conversations with our president and interim AD at the time, it was, it was just what we thought would be the right move for what we needed to move to help continue to move the college forward in our department specifically. So I had to make that tough choice, and that was a hard call because I had to do it in the summer. So I had to do a Zoom call with the team, and that was hard, but I think it's been a good transition, and I'm excited that to where we're headed.
Now, because of personal reasons, Mike Worrell stepped down as men's basketball coach a couple of games into the year. Even though you seemingly left coaching behind after taking the AD job, you're back on the bench now as the men's head coach, interim head coach. Obviously some tough choices had to be made, but what led you to becoming the interim head coach for the program?
Yeah, a lot of it dealt with timing, where we were. We're 2 games into the season, and a team's already went through their preseason practice, and a coach has already kind of established what they're going to do throughout the year, without making those adjustments that are made through the year. So we thought that it was the best choice, to not try to just bring somebody in that moment and then potentially them leave at the end of the year, and then we're going after another head coach. So we just thought that would be what's best for the student athletes that were directly involved. So there's not a ton more change, a ton more new. They obviously, a lot of them knew of me, made that process be a little smoother. The common theme from my coaching friends was the text messages that were coming in already back in the saddle. Knew you didn't want to coach against me anymore, so you went to the other side, and that wasn't the case at all. But it was what we thought, my president and I, and what we thought was best, for the interim, no pun intended.
Now, while things obviously haven't been easy with the start to the season as it has come about, the guys on the team have fought really hard, have nearly pulled off a huge upset at Chatham last week, sustaining a narrow 1-point defeat to last year's PAC runners-up. What does a game like that tell you about this team?
Yeah, they've been fighting. I give them credit. It's a tough situation, right? To go through, lose your head coach, and no matter what that is or what that is, it's when there's that type of change, it's difficult. And what I'll say is the group has continued to move forward and look to learn and each day. And what's been nice is that I have seen that growth in a short period of time of them taking steps to, whether that's something defensively that they didn't think they were doing or we weren't doing, offensively something maybe they weren't thinking they were doing or doing or not doing, and I've seen that growth, and I've seen some development along the way as well in individuals, and that's what's fun, and I think as we continue on, we're able to spend more time together. We need to be able to practice more together, to be honest. It's a challenge when you're trying to make adjustments in the midst of one practice, game, day off. I think as we move forward towards the end of the year, I think I think we might surprise a few people, because I do think the talent is there.
And we'll go through some of that talent. We won't have time to get to everybody, but looking at some of the individuals, the elder statesman, so to speak, although he's new to the team, is grad student Chance Wright. He's a transfer out of Mount Aloysius, also spent some time at Point Park. In a year of transition, what kind of stability has Chance brought considering his prior experience?
Yeah, he's a good voice. He brings, somebody that's been through it before. He's able to kind of help some of these young players through, and it's not just at practice. It might be managing their time with their classes and maybe a work schedule they may have. He's been able to bring some of that leadership style from that standpoint that's been beneficial. And just having some of that experience on the floor has been crucial too. As you noted, we do play a lot of young players, so having some of that stability there from somebody that has experience is very helpful.
And if we said that Bethany is leaving things up to chance, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You mentioned Chance Wright. You also have Chance Wells, who's a transfer from Hiram University. He's averaging 13.4 points per game. What kind of boost has Wells given the team?
Yeah, Chance is a great player. I think he's got a lot of potential that he still is going to that our job here, Brandon and I, is the next month or so to pull out of him. He's able to score in different ways. He's able to get to the basket. He's able to shoot three, and he just plays really hard. I really like his approach to getting after it. We got to keep him out of foul trouble, but we've talked about some of those silly fouls. Stop reaching, and you won't get those extra 2 fouls a game. But he's definitely somebody that I can see being one of the better players in his time here, through his career.
And yet another newcomer to the team, a 6'6" freshman forward in Cole Daly, third team All-State pick out of East Liverpool, Ohio, and a high school dunk champion, as I understand as well. He's averaging 15.5 points per game. Why has Daly been able to adapt so quickly to college and PAC basketball?
I think it's his work ethic. I know that he put in a lot of work just talking with him. And, when I got to meet his dad just for the first time, obviously introduced myself as their new coach, that I know he put a lot of work in this summer to be prepared to make an impact as a freshman. And, I think with him, he's just scratching the surface. From what I watch, he's raw, as you will hear some coaches use that term. He has a long way to go. But you can tell just by his numbers and what he's putting out each night that he's talented enough, and he's got a good skill set around the basket. Now we got to get him in the weight room, get him a little stronger, get him a little bit more confident in himself, and I think that. But I think also some of his confidence has allowed him to have some success. Once he gets going in a game and the game starts flowing well for him, I think that's when he obviously has those better games. It's just now adapting when maybe a few buckets don't go well. But he's a great kid, great attitude, great approach, great student. He's somebody that, you could see as a face of this program these next 4 years, I believe.
And freshman Troy Hickson from Bishop Ready High School has already cracked the starting lineup. Quinn Hiles, a transfer from Ohio Valley University, also saw time at West Liberty Division II, very good Division II program. What do those guys bring to the team?
Yeah, I think with Quinn, obviously experience, right? A little older. He's also he's a really good defender. Probably who we put on most to guard the other team's best player. But he also can shoot the ball. He brings a little bit of some poise, to the team when we need a little voice, somebody to calm us down a little bit. He definitely brings that. Troy is going to be a really, really good shooter, really good, consistent 3-point shooter that you're going to see in this conference. He's finding that typical freshman way. The game sometimes speeds up a little bit too much for him, but once he gets in that flow and he gets himself regulated to what the game flow is, Troy's a pretty good player. And I'm really excited to see how he continues to grow throughout this year as well. But you may see his name up there sometimes with 6 or 7 threes a game that he could pour in, and that would be huge. I think we'd have a good day if he had one of those nights.
And obviously a great influx of new talent. There are some more familiar names that Bethany fans might recall. Who else, of the returnees might we see some of this season?
Yeah, we got Jules and Brendan, Riggs that there's some returners there that are going to give us some good minutes. Some of the other guys that we hope, we got a couple guys banged up right now, that we hope to get back, and Logan Wright's back again. He comes in and sometimes gives Cole some minutes when we need Cole out, if we need to go big. We have him, we just got to. We're working to continue to try to find a rotation that works. Coach Thorson, our GA, he's done a great job. I'm really proud of him for how he's handled this situation, and I'm trying to let him learn a lot as well. But we're trying to find a happy mix of new guys, returning guys, and how do we mismatch those guys together to help lead toward a little bit more success.
With 5 new starters, none of which were with Bethany College last season, it's obviously going to take some time to come together. With that said, there's certainly some talent, which we went through in this group. What will it take to kind of mold this group together and continue to see improvement in the weeks ahead?
I think it starts at practice. I think of just our approach, how we come in each day to I talked a lot recently about, we can't change our situation that we're in, but we can change the environment that in which we have in that situation. And I think that needs to be our approach. I think we just need to come in, Division III is about, you're playing the sport because you love it. And we got to get back to that, I feel like, a little bit, and enjoy the process a little bit. And I think, but also being willing to learn new things and make adjustments to what we might have thought was working. And I think once we do that, and these guys just completely, they come in and work, and I'm excited about that, because I have seen that in them, that our practices and our intensity and our competitiveness has changed in a quick time. And that over time, I think, will hopefully lead to some success for them.
That's Brian Sansom, the interim men's basketball coach at Bethany College, also the director of athletics at Bethany College. Coach, always a pleasure, and a little bit of a surprise we got to talk to you this year, but we always enjoy it. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us. And again, Randy, really appreciate what you and your crew does. It's the PAC Sports Network is a super service that is provided to our student athletes across the whole conference. And just want to thank you for that and your leadership on that.
No, thanks so much. And we appreciate it. Covering PAC basketball, a lot of fun, a great joy to do. And it's our pleasure to be a part of it with great people like yourself here in the conference. So we'll have the second half of today's game when we come back in just a moment.